Alright guys, welcome back. Today I want to talk to you about the first time I got pulled over. So, I claim I am the best driver in my family. I have the cleanest records. I haven't crashed my car. I haven't been in any accidents. I'm just a good driver, and there's no way around that. I can parallel park like a god. I can 90-degree back like a god. I can pull through tight spots. I can do anything. I'm just a good driver. There's nothing around it. And I've kept it that way. But Jack wanted to buy a car all the way out in fucking Wisconsin, like literally as close as you can get to Illinois as possible. Like we're literally right next to Chicago. We went all the way to Kenosha, and this was like a week before the big Kenosha riots. This is like a week before that. So Jack hits me up and he's like, "Do you want to like go to Kenosha with me and buy a Lexus out there?" And I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, that's kind of a drive. Like, that's like over 4 hours, bro. That's past Madison. And he was like, yeah, but it's a really clean car and I don't want to go by myself. And I was like, sure, why not? I have nothing better to do. So we leave and I'm like, dude, we're not going to do this in a day trip. Like, we already left, but like we're not going to do this in one day. That's going to take forever, bro. We're going to be in the car for like almost 12 hours. And I was like, yeah, you're right. So I called my brother who actually lives in Eau Claire, and I was like, hey, what's up? I need a place to crash. Can me and Jack stay at your place, and then we can drive all the way out to Kenosha, so we're not like driving more hours today, and we can just drive the rest after we wake up in the morning. He was like, yeah, sure, come on by. So we get to Eau Claire, and that's like maybe an hour away, not even, maybe a little more actually. So because Hudson's like 45 minutes, yeah. So maybe it's like an hour 30. We get to Eau Claire, and we go in his apartment. And we're like, okay, we're gonna crash here for the night. But then I remembered I had an Xbox friend who lived in Milwaukee, and Kenosha from Milwaukee is only like 40 minutes. And I've never met this guy in real life. Oh, I've only ever played Fortnite with him, and I think Modern Warfare Remastered. But I've never met the guy. But he's been really cool all the times like I played with him, and my brothers have played with him, so they know him too. But I call him up and I'm like, hey, I want to go buy a car out in Kenosha, and I'm in Eau Claire right now. Is it possible I can come like and chill at your place with a buddy of mine until the morning so we don't have to drive that far? And he's in college. He's older. He was like, sure, like, why not? But Milwaukee from Eau Claire is like almost 3 hours. It's far. It's not close because it's like literally on the opposite side. So he said, sure, why not? So me and Jack were like, okay, Cal, sorry, we're gonna go. It's like 10 o'clock, but we're gonna leave. So we leave like at 10 o'clock and we go get gas. I try to put in all the videos and pictures of that night to kind of like fill in some gaps, but okay, now this is it. It's currently it's 10. Oh my!
It's like this for Andre.
It's almost 10. It actually is 10. It's somewhere around there.
Andre.
And we're going to Milwaukee right now. And in Milwaukee, we're gonna go stay at our friend's house, and then we're gonna go to wherever we gotta go tomorrow. That's gonna be it. We go get gas, and then we leave. So we're leaving, and no one's out there. It's like 11 o'clock. It's almost midnight. No one's on the road, and I'm kind of just mobbing around in the Civic with Jack. We're just jamming the music, and I'm flying. But every time, this is just a heads up for anyone who drives. If you're ever going fast and you see lights, always slow down. Like, no, even if they're just like regular lights, always slow down because you never know who you're gonna pass. Like, you just never know. So I'm mobbing, but every time I see a car, I always slow down, and I make sure I slow down. So it becomes around like midnight, and we get probably a little past Madison, and maybe a little farther than that. We get a little past it, and then I'm flying, and I see a car, and I slow down, and then I pass the car, and lights go on, and I'm like, oh shit, this is not true. Like, I'm not getting pulled over right now. It's like midnight. It's almost 1 o'clock. I'm not being pulled over right now. If I can find the ticket, I'll put the ticket up. But I'm there, and I'm just sitting next to Jack, and I'm like, I'm not about to get a ticket. Like, this is stupid. This is not gonna happen right now. I'm not gonna get my first ticket ever in Wisconsin. Like, this is not the truth. And the state trooper comes up to me. State troopers are very interesting. They're a different breed of cops. They're a different breed. Let's put it that way. They're a different breed. So the state trooper comes up to me and goes like, do you know how fast you're going? And I was like, I just had my car in cruise control. I think I was going like 80, 83. And he was like, okay. And then I handed him my license, and he was like, I'll be right back. And me and Jack are sitting in the car for a minute, I tell you. For a minute.
He knows my, uncle. He probably wouldn't.
God damn it, Ben. What'd you do, bro?
We're going a little fast.
And I'm like, yeah, no way I'm going to get a ticket. He was barely at the door, barely at my window. Like, he barely said anything. He just asked me how fast I was going, and for my license, I was like, yeah, take it. Like, this is all that I know. So he goes back and he's like, yep, here's your ticket, sir, and you can fight it at court, or you can just pay it online. And I was like, okay, thank you. He's like, yep, just slow down. I'm like, okay. But I wasn't going to fight the ticket. The ticket was like almost 4 hours away. I'm not going to drive to court. I'm not going to drive 4 hours to Madison and be like, I wasn't going this fast. He's tripping. Just not worth my time. So, yeah, I got a ticket from a state trooper in Wisconsin. And that was the most annoying thing that ever happened to me, was getting a ticket from a state trooper in Wisconsin. But we get to Milwaukee.
Currently in Milwaukee. It's almost 2 o'clock. Next step is to go to Kenosha and buy that car. So this is downtown Milwaukee here. Pretty interesting. Just waiting for Fred to come down, let us in. Wish you all good and straight. Tired and exhausted though. The drive was crazy.
And while we're there, this apartment's tiny. I tell you, it's tiny. But we stay in it, and then we wake up the next morning and we leave. The guy was super chill. He didn't kill us, thankfully. And it was awesome. He was just really chill. So then we leave and we go to Kenosha the next day. Then we pick up the car. And this place we picked up from Kenosha, it's not like, it's small. It's a small little town from what we explored. Maybe it's bigger. I don't know. We really only went to one street in it, and we bought the car. But we bought the car there, and we're like, okay, time to leave. And the sketchiest thing about buying new cars is that A, it's probably not insured. B, you don't own the car. And if the licenses are a little wonky, never a good thing, you know what I mean? So, I'm following Jack. I'm in the Civic. He's in the Lexus now because he bought the car. He talked the guy down. That's what Jack does. He talks people down. He talked them down, and then we drive back. And we probably get about maybe 45 minutes out of Kenosha, and Jack calls me, and he's like, yep, we got to pull over right now. This guy called me, and he's like screaming and yelling, and I'm like, okay, what the hell? So we pull over, and we go like this little dirt turnoff on this exit, and Jack recalls the guy and was like, what's going on? And the guy was like, yeah, I'm calling from my girlfriend's phone because I left my phone in Lexus. Can you look if it's in there? And I look at Jack, I'm like, no way he's being serious. He's just bullshitting, right? Like, we're almost an hour out of Kenosha. We're not turning back. We're not doing that. And Jack was like, yeah, I can look for you. So Jack looks for the phone in the car. He can't see it. And then I was like, yeah, try under the seats and shit. And he checks under the seats and he finds the phone.
Currently pulled over on like the side of the road because the person we bought it from currently left their phone in the car, but we were not finding it. What the hell's going on?
So this head ass Jimbo leaves his phone in the car, and we're just trying to get home, man. Like, you have no idea how exhausting it is driving, and especially by yourself. Driving by yourself is boring. It is boring, I tell you. I DM'd this there's a guy on Instagram, a guy named Rob Ferretti. I DM'd him and I was like, hey, do you want to pay for my speeding ticket? Like, you're always doing this wild shit, trying to get pulled over. You're always paying tickets. You're like a multimillionaire. Do you want to pay for mine? And I DM'd him. I thought it'd be funny. I didn't think he was gonna respond. So it was just whatever. I told Jack, he was like, yeah, it'll be kind of funny. So me and Jack are just sitting in this like turnoff for like 45 minutes waiting for this guy to get here, and we're just super angry. We're hungry. We're tired. We don't want to be in Wisconsin anymore. We're kind of just sick of it. So eventually the guy gets there. He's like, I am so sorry, man. Like, that is my mistake. And we're just like, okay, whatever. And then we just leave and leave him there with his like girlfriend. So he gets his phone back and we just leave. So then we probably we almost get all the way back to Milwaukee when I got a DM on Instagram actually from Rob Ferretti. Because I asked him to pay my speeding ticket, which is about like $250 or whatever it was. It was redonkulous. It was redonkulous, I tell you. It was Wisconsin cops hate Minnesota drivers. So if you're in Wisconsin, you have Minnesota plates, you're like fish in a barrel to them. They're just looking for you. So yeah, Rob Ferretti DMs me back and he's all like, hell no. I'm like, shit, okay, whatever. Whatever, I just got a no for him, so I called Jack. I'm like, hey, like, Rob already actually responded to me. Like, he said no, he won't pay it. And Jack is laughing on the phone. So then we hung up again, and then we're driving. And as we're driving back, we get all the way through Madison fine. We get through Eau Claire fine. And then eventually we get to Hudson. And Hudson's always packed with cops. Because it's probably the most, like... I don't want to... Because I've never been to Green Bay. But I want to assume Madison's pretty lit. I love Madison. Eau Claire is super woke. Don't go to Eau Claire. But I've never been to Green Bay, and I think it's pretty cool. I don't know, but Hudson's pretty big, and it's pretty popular. So cops are always patrolling there, and it borders with Minnesota, so it's always like packed. But me and Jack are driving, and then I'm trying to follow Jack because we don't want to get pulled over, and I don't want him following behind me. So if a cop comes, I'll be able to like kind of help Jack, and I can like deter the cops or something like that. You know what I mean? So we're driving, and then me and Jack pass this undercover cop sitting on the side of the road, and I call Jack. I'm like, yo, cop behind us, like, let's just be safe. And then the cop pulls out, and we're like, shit. I'm like, yeah, dude, the cop pulled out. He's like, okay. So I'm just following Jack close behind, so like they don't see that he doesn't have like a license plate on it because his car didn't have a license plate. So I'm following Jack so the cop doesn't like pull us over, and he probably follows us for a good. He probably follows us almost out of Wisconsin. Like, he follows us for such a long time, and me and Jack are just sweating bullets. And then eventually we cross Minnesota. We cross the state line, and he just didn't follow us. And we get back to Minnesota. And then eventually we get home. We look at the car. Everything's fine. Everything's cool. But then literally, not even like next week, the whole Kenosha riots happened, and we're like, thank God we were not in Kenosha when that happened, because that shit was just crazy. So that was the time when I got my first speeding ticket, and how that all unfolded in the events that led up to that. So I got the ticket. It's gonna be my record forever, but it's okay. That was in Wisconsin. It doesn't really count. I'm not gonna get one in Minnesota. Knock on wood. But that's what it was. If you enjoy this content, and you would like to hear more and watch the gameplay, the gameplay I have is with Jack actually on GTA. So if you enjoy all this, please subscribe and like and leave a comment. And until next time, take care.